Now, there has been some commentary that the intro hour, is a podcast format. And I believe that that's true. To some extent, I guess it's a video podcast, but it is a podcast. And yet, I don't regularly do interviews, which is why tonight's episode is a podcast interview format where I will be interviewing the people who are present in the channel right now. And who better to start with than a person renowned for their podcast interviewing skills, to the extent that they were nominated for an award about podcast interviews. Grimdark James, Ozarian, so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you. It was 2 awards.
2 awards. Incredible. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do when you're podcasting?
Well, I don't podcast anymore. Now the bulk of my online presence is done through your channel, AP. So hopefully everybody listening to Intro Hour has a fair idea of who I am.
What do you do in the AP Gaming Reel space? I had to move that one quickly because originally it was going to be what do you do in the podcasting space, but I'm flexible. I'm moving along.
Yeah, no, look, I'm a professional shit stirrer. Just cause AP's heart rate to increase, and hopefully bring some more subs because they like to hear that sort of banter.
Fascinating. How long did it take you to grow your current YouTube /Spotify /podcast /Blood Bowl audience to the current size that it's at?
16 years. I started podcasting in 2010.
Why did you decide to leave the podcast arena behind you?
Well, we were covering the 40k RPGs, and they stopped making them, or they moved to Wrath and Glory, which wasn't really getting the same interest that the FFG one was. And then my co-host got a girlfriend and suddenly had no time for me anymore, and we pod faded, as the term goes.
I see. And your co-host, that's the renowned co-host Lord Hunger?
That is correct, yes.
And he's also nominated for those 2 awards because he's a member of the podcast.
That's fair to say, yes.
I'm laughing, but it's not being picked up by the microphone. Just know I paused to laugh. Is there something more you can tell us about how your general life and your day job intersects with how you interact with the AP Gaming Reel space?
Well, I, as AP knows, I'm in the enviable position of having a job that wants me for what I know, not what I do, which is good because I don't do very much. Like I've come into the office today. I'm in the office right now, but all my meetings have been cancelled. So I would have gone around and gone home, but I thought I would have missed the start of Intro Hour. So I'll do Intro Hour, and then I'll head home after this and work, in inverted commas, the rest of the day at home, which probably means playing some World of Warcraft. So my day job, which is largely just meetings and telling other people how to be productive, largely gives me a lot of time to interact with AP's community.
Wow. What's the best compliment you've ever received, either in the podcasting internet space or in real life?
Geez. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like I'd say probably the nominations for the awards speak for themselves in the podcasting space.
Incredible. That's where you feel you've peaked is... All right. James, you can feel free to dodge on this one. You don't need to answer it if you're uncomfortable. But where'd you grow up, and how did that affect the person that you became?
Well, I've lived in Australia, in England, in the US, and in Germany for different lengths of time. So I guess that is a whistle-stop tour of Western culture. I've lived in China too, I should say, but not for more than about 6 months. I suppose that I was I'm not an only child, I'm the last of 5, but it was like 11 years between me and my next older sibling, which means that I was the accident that got treated like an only child because my parents had all the other kids were like, grown up and getting jobs. And I was still like, 10, 11 years old. So when my parents were in the let's fly around the world and see the world stage, I got taken along for that sort of stuff. So I guess that's been a good opportunity to see a lot of stuff.
Wow. What's your go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food? Well, I think that the only meal that we have like a fixed thing at my house is every Monday night is spaghetti bolognese night. I really like my wife's spaghetti bolognese.
That's an excellent answer, I gotta say.
Her
I know she
specifically.
doesn't listen to this podcast, but that's such a good answer.
You assume she listens to this podcast. I never said she didn't.
You're right. I am making that assumption. James's wife, if you are listening to this podcast, leave a comment in the YouTube comment section.
I say so much stuff on. I say so much stuff on here I wouldn't say in front of my wife. That's for sure.
Now, I need to ask. A lot of people around the world have watched the spiciness levels of food rise astronomically. Back in the day, when I was a kid, not orange chicken. What's General Tso's chicken was considered spicy, and nowadays it's basically sort of a bland, barely spicy at all sauce, right? The Scoville scale has logarithmically expanded to include ghost peppers and Carolina Reaper. Where when I was a kid, and after you were already an adult, habanero was considered to be very hot. On the spiciness scale of how hot you enjoy things, where do you find yourself on that particular?
I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Wow.
A question for everybody that's present as well, because it will help me illustrate my response. What is your favorite potato chip flavor?
I think just like really plain potato chip that's just, a sliced potato that's been covered in oil and then baked and then a little salt sprinkled on it.
Anybody else want to throw in what's your favorite potato chip flavor?
I like how he seized control of the interview.
Standard.
Salt
Normal.
and vin.
Yeah.
I'm big on barbecue.
Yeah, so I'm definitely in the plain camp. Plain is my favorite flavor of everything. So I am not a spice person. I go for the most bland option, no matter what it is.
All right. That's going to make my next preset question be very odd, but in 1985, a British American band called the Power Station released a song called Some Like It Hot, with the lyrics saying, "Some like it hot and some sweat when the heat is on." Do you like it hot or do you sweat when the heat is on?
I definitely latter. Definitely latter. Yep.
You sweat when the heat is on? Okay.
Yep. I am a hirsute, overweight man. It doesn't take much to make me sweat.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us here today. If we could just ask you to vacate the chair and head back to the green room, we're going to bring more interviews in, and we'll bring everyone back out here at the end of the interview cycle. Thank you so much. That was Oz Orion, aka Grimdark James. Next up on the scene, some have called him a co-host of this particular show. Others have said that he is a very active member of the community. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lawson PHX32.
Good to be here, I guess.
Fantastic. Good to have you here as well. Mask, Lawson. You can pass on any of these questions at any time if you feel they're too personal or might reveal too much information, but where'd you grow up and how did that affect who you became?
I grew up in Tidewater, Virginia. I guess it affected how I grew up as I was around water all the time, and now I don't ever want to be around water.
Wow. We're definitely going to do a deep dive into that down the line, but can you tell us a little about yourself and what you do?
I work for the local school system as a custodian. I'm the head custodian of an elementary school. And during my free time, I am generally around here finding some way to irritate AP.
Wow. What an answer. What do you do in the AP gaming real space?
Depends on what shows are going on. Back during Solaris Nights, I ran some sports stuff behind the scenes that did get brought up on the show occasionally. Right now, it's more just hanging out in the various offline games and being here for the intro hour.
Now, I understand that you have done some broadcasting in the past. You have ambitions of one day becoming a VTuber. We've even done a VTuber collab together. How long did it take you to grow your audience to its current size as someone who has an independent fan base who follows you based on your Blood Bowl leagues, fantasy leagues?
Let me check real quick. I have 6 subscribers.
Hmm.
So not very long. My last comment was 3 years ago, so say about there.
When was your last video? 3 years ago?
When was my last video? When was my last public video? December 2025.
Okay.
That's got 17 views. That was me doing something for Dunamis' Necromunda campaign. It was a solo mission, so I recorded it.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I was told very randomly by a cashier in a drive-thru that I had very pretty eyes.
Wow. Incredible. You know, they say men don't receive nearly enough compliments, and that really sounds like a swing for the fences. If money wasn't a factor, what would you do with your time? I actually am scared to hear this answer, but it is on my question list for you.
What would I do with my free time?
Yeah, money wasn't a factor. You could do whatever you wanted.
Probably play video games and coach sports.
Let's take a deep
and
dive
collect
into
more
that.
merch.
Tell me more about you and sports. I think that anyone familiar with you knows that you are an enormous sports related person. How did you get into the sports?
It wasn't a. I played a little bit of soccer growing up. Just
When you say
local thing
soccer,
that-
of course, you're referring to football.
yes, non-American football. Yes.
Hmm.
About 9, 10 years old, my mom met her current husband, who really got me into sports as a fan, specifically football and baseball, and that kind of developed from there. I played a little bit of basketball through middle school and high school, and recently, until I just suffered my knee injury, I was playing with my brother in a local league. So from there, it just developed into more tabletop sports stuff that led to what I did with Solaris Knights.
What would you say your biggest passion is?
Video games.
That's a pretty broad passion. Can you narrow down the focus somewhat?
Uh,
All
let's
right,
go
if
with
the
gacha
answer is
games.
no, if you just omni
I
like
play
all
a
video
wide
games.
variety.
Sure.
I play sports games. I play gacha games. I play various single player games that come up on PlayStation or Game Pass for free. So it's a very broad category for me.
What would you say is the biggest challenge you had to overcome in your life?
Just being incredibly lazy in high school with regards to grades.
Extremely understandable. We've all been there. There's one thing you could say directly to your audience and this podcast audience. What would it be?
Make sure to interact with the content. Get it in the cycle.
Thank you so much, Lawson. Can we have you vacate the stage, head back to the green room? We'll bring you back out later.
Can I ask Lawson a question from the green
Oh,
room?
of course. We're phoning a friend right now. As you can see behind me, we have a giant
I'm
Zoom
turning
screen.
around and heading
Yep.
back.
Yeah.
I'd just like to know whether your recent basketball injury is career ending or not.
I still have to get the MRI done, so that was they just sent the request in today when I went to see the orthopedic. So I'll let you know in about 2 or 3 weeks when I get my MRI and my follow-up.
All right. We're bringing out one of my longest followers, someone who's been with the channel basically before there was a channel, a Pathfinder Society psychopath in a group of psychopaths who played Pathfinder Society. Eternal, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Glad to be here. It has been quite the journey.
Fantastic. Now, just as a reminder, you can pass on any question if it's too personal, too revealing, or you're not interested in it. But where'd you grow up? And how did that affect who you became?
I grew up in a couple places, but primarily I was first, let's see, for most of elementary school, I was in California, a little place called Lafayette, a few hours from San Francisco. But let's see, about middle school, I moved to Idaho, where I don't know, if I was pretty social during, let's see, elementary, but I kind of became more reclusive in high school and in Idaho, so that seems to have affected me. I don't know. But yeah, it seems to have pushed me on the path towards being more reclusive.
Wow. We'll definitely come back to that reclusiveness as a natural recluse myself. Can you tell us a little about yourself and what you do?
Uh, I actually work at the most interesting of places, a corrugated boxing factory as part of customer services and expediter. Essentially, I help manage the production and make sure everything moves quickly to production.
You've been in the tabletop RPG slash actual play space for the majority of your life. Would you say that that statement is correct?
I Yes, now at this point now it would be over 50%, I'd say.
My question is, why?
I do enjoy it to a large degree. It's a great way for me to interact, especially since with online, as I became a recluse, I've enjoyed the online space more and more. The tabletop online has been a great way to adapt to that and enjoy it. And I just enjoy RPGs in general. I got it from my dad. He was a big D&D player. He got me into it early, and then I got into it myself.
As the person in this call closest to being a kid, I'm very interested to know, what did you want to be as a kid when you grew up, and why?
Um, it's a curious question because I've not had too much of a dream because I've luckily come from a very fortunate family, have a lot of fallback, so I never really had so much strong goals because I knew I had a lot to rely on and didn't see so many like career paths that called out to me. So I've kind of fallen into the family business and I've been enjoying it well enough, and that's kind of what I thought would happen, and it's worked out for me.
All right. Tabletop RPG wise, you've come on a long journey from Pathfinder to D&D 5 to 5.5 and all sorts of other games in between. Which one would you say you've preferred the most?
In terms of pure preference, it would have to be a toss up between Pathfinder and D&D 3.5. I just enjoy the flexibility and depth of the systems, how deep you can get to character creation. But in terms of that's only, let's see, on the conceptual level, I've had some great games with both of them. But there's also, let's see, systems that have surprised me in how much I enjoy them, not based on the concept or the mechanics, but just because of great campaigns. Burning Wheel being one of chief among them, of ones that I didn't expect to enjoy so much, but just enjoyed tremendously due to a good campaign.
I mean, we can all agree Burning Wheel is fantastic if you can get on board after about 20 sessions. That's when the game really starts. As someone who spends a lot of time reclusive and yet also spends a lot of time playing tabletop role-playing games with people, which often involves sort of very revealing psychological details about yourself and to others, what character traits would you say you respect the most in other people?
Ooh, it's interesting.
Because as a reclusive, you must obviously have things you don't like about people. So,
I'll
what do
admit
you
that.
like about people?
I very much enjoy when people are uh, respectful. Is let's see, the word I would associate most with it, of not trying to stick into other people's business, of trying. It kind of it mirrors a trait I don't like, of of people talking behind others' backs. So I very much respect when people are able to be kind and respectful of other people's boundaries and respectful of them even when they're not around. Of course, I this sounds hypocritical because I know how much I and others harass UAP, but I hope we do it in a loving way.
Well, I think there's a gap between gossip and playful interaction, or male bonding, one might call it, given.
I'd like to echo that, AP. I only hurt you because I love you.
I see. Fantastic. What a great thing to hear.
I do hope you understand our chiding as playful male bonding. The kind I don't like is the kind I see at work, a bunch of people being very underhanded and talking behind other people's backs about their work and such.
Well, I feel almost like I, as the interviewer, am being called to call upon this with a comment. And I'll say this. When I started out on the internets, to move into this sort of space of actual play and broadcasting and such, I wouldn't say I was a people pleaser, but as someone who was extroverted at the time and has become increasingly introverted over time, I would say that when I started, I tried to smooth over a lot of gaps and I tried to be pleasant with a lot of people. And as time has advanced, I have removed people that I don't like from my life because it's a huge waste of my time. So if you're still around here, you're probably not annoying me. I do have one last question for you, Eternal. It is very important. In 1985, the British American band The Power Station released a single, "Some Like It Hot," and in the lyrics, it asks, "Some like it hot and some sweat when the heat is on." Which of those two are you?
Unfortunately, in terms of weather, at the very least, I do not like it hot. I sweat. I like the coolness of the winter.
All right, you sweat when the heat is on. Any green room questions we're getting phoned in here?
Yeah, I have a follow-up question. I'd just like to know, as a person who works in a corrugated box factory, which is also the family business, are you part of Big Box?
I am the part of the biggest box.
Wow, what an answer. Is there a bird involved? A big bird?
That's classified.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll have you go back to the green room. We'll bring you back out at the end once we've finished our interviews. Joining us today live is a person we've seen around here from time to time, but one that hasn't quite claimed the title of co-host, even if it has been stolen by him by his education adjacent partner. Big Spoon, thanks for joining us today in the studio.
You're very welcome.
Spoon, I understand that you weren't here when I talked about what the format of today's The Intro Hour is. Have you picked up, based on context clues, as to what we're doing here today?
I think I'm catching on, yes.
Fantastic. Well, if that's the case, then can I ask you, can you tell us a little about yourself and what you do?
I am Big Spoon. I'm a cast member here on Arthur's channel. I tend to play and run a variety of role-playing games and video games, tending towards Anything that's not D&D.
Interesting. I'm trying not to offer too much commentary on these questions. I think it's illuminating that when I asked you about yourself, you mostly answered as to how it relates to me.
But you said, what do you do around here?
Well, I think I asked, can you tell us a little about yourself and what you do? But yeah, okay,
sure.
I'll say that, yeah.
I work for a big box store. I'm a merchandise executioner.
Seeing a lot of boxing happening around here.
I mean, they are one of the largest employers in the U.S.
Sure.
So
You need to make boxes and then use them to deliver things. Boxes are very important. If Omar was here,
I don't make boxes or deliver things. That's not true. Sometimes I do.
You sell boxes?
Mostly, I take boxes apart and take the things out of them and set them up to be sold.
Ah, very well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how much do you want to know?
I think that anything you've been willing to share so far is more than enough.
Okay. Next question, then, please.
I think that it's fair to say that while you might not exactly be an actual play host yourself, you have garnered an audience independent of the actual plays that you are a participant in. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I guess I'd say that's fair.
Because by my records, which certainly may not be complete, you were on a award-winning Shadowrun show. You regularly appear in Eric Vulgaris content, and you're also a regular on the AP Gaming Reel show, according to my notes here.
I feel like I'm probably I bounce around a little bit, but I don't know if I have my own like following that is like, oh, Big Spoon's in this on this other person's channel. I'll go watch that.
Interesting.
or at least if I do, it's a handful of diehards. Which shout out to those people.
Spoon,
Keep it real.
where'd you grow up, and how did that affect who you became?
I grew up in the great state of Kansas. I'll put it how my dad put it. He says Kansas is a great place to be from. I think it's certainly impacted my worldviews somewhat. Definitely, I got the traditional Midwestern high school experience. I grew up playing football, baseball, basketball. I didn't run track. I threw heavy things, but I had a pretty run of the mill upbringing that you would see in America.
If you had to describe yourself as an animal, which one would it be and why?
If I had to describe myself as an animal?
As an animal.
That's a tough one. I would probably go with some sort of like bear. Not so much in that like I'm like as strong as a bear is. I do love to sleep though. I like sleep.
A lot of us have things we don't like based on lives that we've lived, choices that we made, and sometimes we have things that we just instinctually don't like that one might call a pet peeve. What's your biggest pet peeve?
When somebody's not like upfront and honest with you about things that upset them. It's always easier to communicate things out in the open and deal with the problems. You either find a solution or you don't, and if you don't, that's okay. So that's one of my major pet peeves is when somebody is not honest.
Spoon, I'm going to take a real hard zig here.
Okay.
What star sign are you?
I'm a Gemini.
Wow, fantastic. Who is the most influential person in your life, and how did they impact you?
The most influential person in my life.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know. That's a tough one to pick. Probably my daughter, because she's my daughter.
What an incredible answer.
Yeah.
Now, Spoon, you seem like a guy who likes to eat. I say that as a guy who
Sure.
also likes to eat.
Yeah.
When we were kids, the Scoville scale was different, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. Where do you fall on the spicy-o-meter?
I would say I fall at about the third hot sauce in the Hot Ones challenge. That's it.
I'm
No
not.
further than that.
I am not clear on what that is. How far? I mean, is that past habanero, jalapeno habanero?
It's a little bit of like I think. Let's see. I think it's in the habanero
Okay.
area.
All right. So you like it hot, but not like
Not
scorching
too
or
hot, though.
possible permanent
No,
damage.
no. And that's like, I'm not seeking out. I'm not seeking the heat. I'm
Interesting. You're not looking for a gustatory response.
Yeah. So here's the season. Let's see. Yeah, season 1. I think the first three sauces are all basically the same. Tops out at about 5,700 Scoville, which is not very hot at all, considering the next one typically jumps up to about anywhere from 9 to 15,000.
Spoon, when you came onto this interview stage, you immediately jumped into actual play and people that you play with. Let me ask, who's someone you'd like to collaborate with in terms of playing a tabletop RPG or a board game with, but you haven't had the chance?
I mean, are we talking like
Anybody.
sky's the limit here? Like
Anybody,
dream,
even
like
fictional
Moonshot?
characters
Oh, fictional characters. Okay.
or real people.
I mean, I would love to collaborate with the like the Dimension 20 cast and Lou Wilson and those
Sure.
guys, but I think a more realistic. Nah, I don't really know. We'll go with the D20.
Okay. Fantastic. Spoon, I've asked almost everyone this question with the exception of Lawson, and it feels like I should definitely be asking you as well. In 1985, the British American band The Power Station released the song Some Like It Hot, which postulates the philosophical question, some like it hot and some sweat when the heat is on. Where do you fall between those binaries?
Well, I sweat pretty easily, so I think I sweat when the heat is on.
Do we have any green room interview questions here for Mr. The Spoon?
Not from me. Spoon's no book to me.
See, the scary part is James goes through some of our survey questions sometimes. He's like, yeah, I know who all these
Sure.
people are.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my survey questions are super easy to analyze. I do not. Sorry, go ahead, James.
I have a question for AP actually.
Oh,
So my question, AP, is yesterday when we spoke, you talked about intro hour being about World of Warcraft. So I'd just like to know, when did you realize you'd built a House of Lies?
you might note that today's title is called the Intro Hour WoW Edition. We are wrapping up on the interview portion of this podcast, and the second half will be about World of Warcraft. I'm not sure if Radd is actually here, though, because sometimes he joins, but he isn't capable of talking because he's doing other stuff.
He just doesn't want to talk to me.
Before I had the chance to interview Radd, you asked me that question. Radd, are you actually here and would like to be interviewed at the moment? You're not going to be jumping around?
I can participate.
Wow, he can participate. Fantastic. Let's get him in the chair then.
Chicken right now.
Spoon, let's send you to the green room. We'll have you come back out at the end.
Sure.
After
Radd,
I go, my wife. After you interview me, you can interview my wife.
I don't believe you.
That's good. You probably shouldn't. She's staring daggers at me right now.
Radd, can you tell us a little about yourself and what you do?
Sure. I'm Radosaurus, and I'm a dad and a husband, and I work in IT asset management for network at a major oil and gas company. And I'm also a senior NCO in the United States Army Reserve. And I'm a sometimes cast member on Arthur's channel.
What do
And
you
artist.
do in
Oh,
the
and recreational artist.
recreational artist?
Recreational, non-professional.
What do you do in the internet broadcasting tabletop RPG space?
Gosh, what do I do? Well, one of my favorite things to do is to delay shows with outstanding artwork debts. Is one of the things I'm really good at.
Gotta appreciate the self-deprecating humor there.
On the internet, I mostly just participate on your channel, Arthur, and in a couple of different Discords that used to be play-by-post Discords that don't really do play-by-post anymore, because I think play-by-post was kind of the COVID era. So that was a fun world to be a part of, but it's not really around anymore. And other than that, I draw silly pictures. It's just kind of how I originally got involved in Arthur's channel, was via fan art for the most part.
I think it's fair to say that you have an independent audience that follows you for your art and for your slice of life / military earned knowledge. Is that fair to say?
If you say so. I don't know if any of those are. I don't know if that's an earned following, but it could be true.
Well, it's not that the following is earned. It's that the knowledge that you've achieved through military service is earned.
I guess so. I think you actually, a lot of your community are veterans.
Yeah, surprisingly huge amount.
Yeah, and I think some of them probably have, or may not have had more experience than I have. Like, for example, I've never served under, I've never been active duty. Like, my entire time has been in the reserves. Now, I've done active duty time on missions, but I guess I don't know. I think some of the other guys probably have.
I think we had a chief,
if not more, experience than me.
Yeah, we had a chief rolling around at some point. Definitely a lot of sergeants.
Yeah, I think I've been in a long time. So that might be why I've spent going on 17 years now in the Army Reserve.
Radd, where'd you grow up, and how did that affect who you became?
Oh, that's a great question, Arthur. I'm glad you
Thank
asked.
I appreciate that. It's from my pre-canned icebreaker question list.
Very nice, very nice. I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, and have lived kind of all over, every major city in Texas. My dad was an architect by trade, so his job was kind of project-based. So when a project wrapped up, the company sends you to the next spot. So, I spent time in Dallas and Austin and San Antonio and Houston and a couple of smaller towns, and a little bit of time over in Los Angeles. And then finally, around my high school years, settled here in Houston, which is where my mom is from.
Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I am going to ask some lead-up questions to my actual question, which is, as an artist, would you say that you're a comic book fan?
Oh, yeah. I don't read comic books as much as I used to, but like high school and college age, I read a lot of comics. I have it used to be 2 bookshelves worth of comics, and now it's mini boxes worth of comics because I don't have them on bookshelves in my house anymore. But they're all in my attic, deteriorating from the Texas heat, so they do still exist.
Fantastic. What a great lead up to the actual question I was just going to ask is, just between you, me, and the entire internet and all of human history, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Wow, one superpower. What a
One
great
superpower.
question.
Just one.
Man. I've thought about this a lot, and I always come to different answers. So you can't take this as my definitive answer, because I don't think I have one.
People can grow and change over time.
I always thought, I'll give you 2 answers, right?
All right.
I think the most obvious one is both. Man, I can't think of his name right now. It's not Wild Star. It's a X-Men mutant hero from a different dimension, but the person more people would know of that have the same power as Domino, which is just probability altering powers. It's like a passive power that just makes you lucky and just has everything generally work out in your favor. It's like super luck.
Sure. I mean,
feel
we
like
all
that
saw Deadpool 2 with Domino. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's the easy answer, because I think, you could do things like win the lottery and only have good stuff happen to you and just general fortune throughout your life without having to dodge scientists trying to dissect you for all your wild powers or becoming a weapon of the government or anything like that. Like, I just think you could have an extra sweet regular human life. And then my other answer is, I always thought Forge, the X-Men Forge, was cool. Basically, his power was just invention. Anything he could think of, he could invent and build. I think that would be pretty cool too.
The power of invention. Fantastic.
I'll jump in here a second.
Yeah, of course.
I was going to say, I once asked this question at the dinner table in my family growing up. My mother's answer to what superpower would she like is she would like the ability to, at the end of the day, just click her fingers and be in bed, changed for bed, teeth done, hair done, not to go through that whole process of getting ready for bed. Just be, I'm tired, click, I'm in bed. And that led to a whole conversation with a group of friends that were playing a superhero RPG about how you'd actually turn that power into something useful, X-Men style.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. My answer, along the same power lines as that, is I'd like to be able to snap my fingers and have already eaten.
You don't enjoy the process of consuming hot dogs?
Well, look, and hot dogs are a special case. Some things you do out of necessity and some things you do for pleasure.
You're just against the entire concept of eating?
More or less. I think mealtime is one of the most inconvenient parts of my entire life. Like, if I just didn't have to decide what to eat or prepare food or wash dishes or do any of that ever again,
Well, no.
I'd be okay with that.
Why not skip? Why not have a power to skip the clean up and cooking? Why skip the good part?
Yeah, for real.
Because it's also the burden of the decision. Like, I guess, yeah, sure. If I was going to change the power, it'd be I'd snap my fingers and food that I want to eat in that moment without me having to decide what it is would appear in front of me. Like a random food from my list of top 15 favorite foods.
That's what my wife says. The difference between being a child and being an adult is deciding what to make for dinner every night for the rest of your life.
Yeah, out of either chicken or ground beef. Yeah, I don't know. I'm the opposite of whatever a foodie is. Like, I'm not big on mealtime. I would breeze past it if I could, and then only eat when I wanted to eat for enjoyment.
I was just leaving some space here. It seemed like we have.
I know this is a controversial take. A lot of people don't like to hear it. If I could eat like 80% of my meals through like a mildly tasty shake and have all the nutritional value I need, I would do it. I would just forego food entirely.
What a great segue into today's sponsor, Soylent. Founded 13 years ago by Starcrow Breads. Soylent allows you to have one tasty shake with your entire day's calorie and nutritional needs. Are they really sponsoring the show? Absolutely not. The show has never been sponsored before. But I do like Soylent in concept, although their meal replacement plans. Just to be clear, Spoon is making Soylent Green jokes. Soylent is a real company that makes real meal replacement. This is real. You can look it up. Of course, they.
I know.
Yes.
I have a follow-up question for Radd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a military man, Radd, who doesn't particularly enjoy the process of eating, how do you feel between a plate of food where every single individual component is separated on the plate versus one where they're all mixed together?
I'm glad you asked. This is a great question as well. My mom thinks I'm one answer, but I am actually the other. For some reason, my mom believes that I'm the type of person to not like my food touch, but I am absolutely the kind of person that would eat every meal in a bowl with a spoon and just have all the ingredients together in a mush. Like, give me a rice or a mashed potatoes as a base, and then just throw everything else in it, and I will mix it up and eat it by the spoonful.
Wow.
Nice. You just need
Or-
to medieval life where you drink your ale out of the same bowl as well.
Yeah, exactly. Barring a base like potatoes or rice, wrap it in a tortilla, and I'm good.
The Texan way. Wrap it in a tortilla.
Wrap it in a tortilla.
Get that chili con Colorado in there. Radd, what's your favorite movie, and what does that reveal about yourself?
Oh gosh, so many good movies.
I'm on record
many-
with Black Hawk Down being my favorite
so many good
movie.
answers. I will say that my favorite movie is not necessarily what I think is the best movie. It's just my favorite.
Just your favorite.
Yeah, it's I think my favorite movie is Empire Strikes Back. And I
Mhm.
think all that says about me is that I'm a white male between the ages of 35 and 50.
Wow.
I don't know that it says much else about me. I don't know. Like a lot of kids my age, I grew up a Star Wars kid, and that was the Star Wars movie that I liked the most. And Star Wars was pretty formative to me. It inspired in me, I don't know, a lifelong love of storytelling in general, I think.
Brad, do you have any siblings? And if so, how do they affect your life?
I do. I have one younger brother. He's 5 years younger than me. And he's been my best friend most of my life. He's obnoxious. He's very different from me. And not that I'm not obnoxious. He's obnoxious in a different way. He's very different from me in a lot of ways. But I don't know. I definitely would be a totally different person if I had not grown up as a big brother. I think anybody's role as a sibling changes who they are on a pretty fundamental level. And I wasn't always the best big brother, but I think I did pretty good, and we have a pretty good relationship even now. So I think that's it's been a big positive in my life. Since we moved around so much, I didn't have very many permanent friend groups. Like, I don't have friends that I've known since I was in elementary school or anything like that. So my family, as a result, is pretty close knit. Like, my brother has always been kind of my best friend. My first cousins have always been like siblings to me. So I think that's pretty profoundly affected who I am as a person.
Wow, that's really revealing. I knew you had a brother, and I was using that question to bootstrap into a segue, but you revealed quite a bit about yourself. Meanwhile, the bootstrap question is, I know that you and your brother are closely aligned on the topic of Blizzard games, Blizzard Entertainment, World of Warcraft in general, and that you attended BlizzCon together as a sort of bucket list item. How did that go for the two of you?
It went great. Like, I don't know, Blizzard games in the same way that, things like Star Wars and Halo were just very formative, like in those, like, what was that, like the mid 90s, early 90s?
Yeah, mid 90s
right?
to early 2000s was World of Warcraft.
Like Diablo, the first Diablo game,
95.
the original StarCraft and Warcraft, and all those games were such, it was in that era, Blizzard was the king of quality, I feel like. And obviously that's not true anymore. I'm not under any delusions that they're a great company, whether it be through consistent quality or even ethical practices. Like, I'm not under any delusions, but
Right. I feel like you're
BlizzCon
wandering
was
away
great.
from BlizzCon.
Yeah, BlizzCon was great. We really enjoyed it. It was me, my brother, and our childhood friend, who's like we're the three best friends that anyone could have. And then it was the year that they announced the now tragic Overwatch 2. They announced Diablo 3. They announced I think it was Shadowlands was the upcoming
Surely it must have
Warcraft
been
thing.
Diablo 4, right? Wasn't
Yeah, sorry, Diablo 4.
yeah, I was
you're
gonna
right,
say
you're right,
Diablo 3 was a long time ago.
Sorry, yeah. And they announced Warcraft 3 Reforged, which again we were excited about then. It was a huge BlizzCon year, like through no pre-planning of our own. We just happened to go on a year where a new Diablo game was announced, and it was a big year for announcements, and that was really cool. And that's the first time I'd ever been to any kind of convention for any kind of like fandom, and it was really cool being around just a whole crowd of people that were super into one of the things that you're into. So just the sort of, it sounds cheesy or trite, but like the community around it, and everybody running around in costumes and telling the same inside jokes and making the same silly references. And I don't know, it was a really fun experience, and it definitely turned me on to going to other conventions, which would eventually lead me to going to Gen Con, which was also a great time. We actually went to BlizzCon again, like last year or the year before. So I've been to BlizzCon twice now. The second time was a lot less cool than the first time, but it was great. I really enjoyed my convention experiences, all three that I've had, and I appreciate that the first BlizzCon left such a good impression on me that it kind of opened that activity up to me as a thing that I can go do with buddies.
Fantastic. Well, now that we've opened the door to talk about World of Warcraft, I do absolutely want to give the Green Room an opportunity to offer last minute commentary before we transition to the World of Warcraft segment. It sounds like they already jumped in a couple times.
Yeah, I think I've stirred enough shit today.
This was a fun segment though. I like this.
Good.
Yeah,
It
this
was
is cool.
52 minutes long. So
Nice.
rather than a segment, it's the super majority of the episode. But yeah, I thought we should do a podcast thing.
I even got my wife on to listen to all of you be interviewed by Arthur. So she's listening to Twitch right now, learning all about you.
Wow.
Oh, good
Hi,
God.
Rad's wife.
To be known is terrifying.
Hello, I'm here.
Just know that Radd said that you were going to start playing World of Warcraft with us. If that was a lie, we are all expecting you to join us, and it's his
Yeah,
fault.
I've been promised I can ask to go run dungeons at any point in time.
Ah, she is in chat. All right, it wasn't a lie by Radd. You can never tell with him. He's a trickster. World of Warcraft. This
I'm
server
going chicken
is... Oh, sorry?
I'm gonna go eat chicken now.
He's going to go eat chicken. Fantastic.
Not ground beef. Tonight.
His two choices, yes, chicken or ground beef.
Chicken blended up into some sort of slurry that he then drinks.
Right back to our sponsor for today's segment, Soylent.
I mean, you can take this or you have chicken fried beef.
That is true. You can get chicken fried steaks all across the American South. It is fantastic. World of Warcraft. James tricked me into playing World of Warcraft. Now we're going all in. By all in, I mean we're gonna play like once a week together. We're not becoming an official World of Warcraft thing. We are trying to get the guild together. I think there's going to be a shot tomorrow night after 9 p.m. getting 5 people online at the same time. We have the 5 people. They just weren't all on at the same time, and so the guild charter bugged out and failed. You can find us on US East of BlackRock. We're gonna be doing stuff. People already are planning lots of alts. I'm playing my character Darkness Dark, who is a warlock moving through Warlords of Draenor. I played a long ass time ago, so I stopped playing during Gates of Anchorage, and then James asked me yesterday if I'd ever had any flying mounts. Flying mounts weren't introduced until I believe the Burning Crusade, as James said. That wasn't until a year after Anchorage is out, and I quit during Anchorage because I was like, damn, it's not vibing with me anymore. So yeah, I literally I completely missed flying mounts. Not just in that game, but in basically every MMO ever. I quit out on Rifts right before they released flying mounts there as well, I think. Yeah, I mean, again, we're not looking to go sweaty hard. I think there is some...
We're not going for world first.
Yeah, I'm not going for progression rating. I was a progression raid guild leader in Rifts, and I'm never doing it again. It's definitely very interesting. I think that learning mechanics and getting 20 to 40 people to do them with you is certainly an important skill you can learn about in life, especially for herding children or old people. If you ever find yourself needing to get a large group of people, tour guide style, to move from one location to the other, MMO progression
Many
rating will prepare
times-
you for that.
Many times in my job, I've needed my team to throw more dots, and I've known how to get that out of them.
Sorry, throw more dots? Damage
More
over
dots.
time effects?
You gotta have the hots too.
Who are you damaging with these dots, just to be clear?
That's classified.
Ah, I see. All right, well, we have less than 5 minutes left, and we're on schedule. We've talked about WoW. I know James claimed that I was mentirosa, but we got it out there. I do want to leave a section for people to just talk about whatever, as per usual, as per my last email. What's going on
Last
with you
week,
guys?
I bought a $1,000 Gundam model. Well, sorry, $700 model. 750 US dollars.
Don't worry. Next week it'll be $1,000.
Yeah, that was my naughty purchase last week.
Which Gundam is this?
This is the perfect grade Unleashed new Gundam.
Isn't it the 30th anniversary of G Gundam coming up?
Might get a G Gundam model, maybe. I don't know. There hasn't been many G Gundam models.
Yeah.
Oh, this model has the classic Gundam shape with the shoulders and then the V frame over the head sort of deal, and then the machine gun heatsink ports along the side of the cheeks. All right. Classic. You know, I'm always a big fan of the 00 Gundams, but that's because I'm a hater of the main timeline.
I got Razor perfect grade recently. I've got a build still.
Wow, Razor.
Yep.
What a way to get into the 00 series by starting with 00 Razor. All right.
Well,
I assume it's fucking huge, right? Like Razor literally was like 3 or 4 times as wide as most Gundams are, and it has an entire shuttle on its back. Wow. We gotta get this man into Exia 7 swords at some point.
You circle back to
Oh, we're circling back?
yeah. I mean, that's what the topic is. So I figured I would give my thoughts so far. I've been enjoying it. I think that's mostly due to the changes that they've made to Paladin. And to be clear, this is changes that happened like several expansions ago. This is just I'm now playing them to experience them.
There were big changes to Paladin and Midnight, by the way. I read an
Yes,
article that said that they really hyped up the whole class for Midnight because the light is so important.
Right. So I've been enjoying it. I don't know how intense I will be about it. Right now I'm still probably a no for subscription, but we'll see.
We can't get him through the door, guys.
It's but so far it's been fun, but I don't know that I want to sink any money into it.
What a follow-up.
And I know that there are ways to get game time without spending any money.
That is true.
Also requires a pretty prodigious investment of time, which I also do not have.
Yeah, I think the going rate right now is about 208,000 gold for 30 days of game time.
Yeah.
Oh, I see now on Discord that people leaked the interview format for our latecomers. All right. I see.
I didn't realize we were keeping that trade secret.
I just thought people might pick it up implicitly based on how I started it out. I guess it really isn't that difficult to figure out. With 15 seconds left, Anyone got anything they want to say on the way out the door on this, the intro hour World of Warcraft and interview edition?
Something long spoon.
I do have something to say, actually. I really wish we would have gone Alliance, because I